I thought my house was haunted.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. My name's Elle Cameron, and I produce this series on workers' justice. I also do circle group around that. If you've looked at the University of Michigan recently, they talk about their circle group work. And that's the work I do around restorative justice within organizations, businesses, companies, community, whatever needs to be done. I like to come in and do that, and I have done it previously. Alexa, pause. Sometimes I get copyrighted, and I think it's because of the music, but I'm not sure. I don't think anything I actually say is copyrighted, except as always. I've always said that I should have copyrighted that, as always. As always, we give back to the earth when we're thankful. Oh, for my. It's a moment of silence to the earth, to the east, to the south, to the west, to the north, to the sky. Only love and light, or divine love and light, are invited into this space. There we go. Put that over there by Jimmy. All right. So today, as I get ready, I have notes to myself in several places to not necessarily check my hair, but to check my microphone. You can check my microphone. Oh, there it is. Check my microphone. Check my microphone. And I need to put on my watch because, it's early. It's not that early, but it's early. I prep for these segments that I do, and I think about like what I want to say and stuff. And I've been prepping for this particular one. This one is you've left the organization. You've been exited from the organization. You didn't feel like you got accountability while you were there. You didn't feel like you are getting justice now. And you want to know what steps you can take to move forward. So thought a lot about that. And I just really want to make it clear that everyone has choices, right? Everyone has every day, like you can wake up today and make a choice to do whatever you want to do, right? So every one of us has choices because of my experiences in the past, and understanding that our legal system does not support workers, that it's a waste of time, money, energy. Sometimes even with the EEOC, you're not going to get results. Because of my personal spiritual beliefs, I believe in karma. And my understanding of karma is that whether you're a good person or a bad person, we make choices. And because of those choices, we suffer consequences. And some of those consequences are very tangible, and other people can see them. We can see them. And sometimes those consequences are not tangible. They're more internal. And that's how karma then generates justice, because then internally, if you've done something to harm or hurt another person or cause another person suffering, then you will look at that and you'll start to say, oh, I caused that person to hurt. Maybe I need to do some internal work on myself. I truly operate in that fashion. So anything I say in the next whatever I'm saying this, however long this goes, I want to make it perfectly clear. I have no intention of going after any previous employer for retaliation in any way. If I were to go after any employer, it would be for my ex-husband who was hurt while he was working for Schwann's. That would have been a justifiable reason to seek civil retribution. But that was like 20 years ago, right? So I'm not going to seek that kind of retribution now in any way, shape, manner, or form, despite whatever I say in the next whatever. I have no intention of causing that kind of harm back to other to my previous employers. However, I'm going to say the but thing. The but thing is that, hold on, because I need to really think about whether I should say this or not. I'm going to wait, I think. So justice, so here's what I've prepped, all right? And then we'll see where this goes. Justice doesn't end when the job does. Okay, I do want to be careful of what I say and the intent behind it, okay? Leaving a job doesn't mean leaving your dignity behind. Too often, workers exit quietly, carrying stories of manipulation, gossip, gaslighting, or worse. Today, we're talking about how justice continues even after you've walked out the door. So, first one is the most obvious, right? Seeking justice after employment, legal aid and advocacy. Nonprofits like Justice at Work and state workforce agencies offer support for unfair treatment, unpaid wages, or wrongful termination. Before you go to legal aid, and this is right, like some people are going to be like, what? But before you go to legal aid, and while this is happening, I would really suggest getting a licensed professional psychiatrist or psychologist to talk to and work through what happened, right? Because you really need to get a grip on your emotions of what happened before you even go to see an attorney, right? So before you go seek legal aid, probably while you're at that place of employment, understanding that you've encountered manipulation, gaslighting, gossip, or worse, and we're going to talk a little bit about worse. So if you're experiencing those right now at work, or you have, please seek out a therapist just to help you work through what happened. And the biggest reason why I say that is because now if you're unemployed, you're going to be looking for new employment, and you don't want to carry those emotions with you. You don't want to carry that information with you into that next interview, into that next workplace, right? That's where the trauma-informed workplace comes in, because sometimes we hire people, we don't know what their past experience is, but they've experienced some sort of workplace trauma, and now they're in our work environment. We need to understand that and how we can work with that and how we can advocate around that. So that's the first thing I would actually recommend anyone do is go see a licensed professional psychiatrist or psychologist who can help you work through those feelings. Then go seek legal aid, right? And before you even seek legal aid, you've got to make sure you've got evidence. Like, you've got to have solid evidence. If you've recorded a conversation, if there's a text manuscript of a meeting that you've had, you've got to have that all there. And working through all that information can be internally upsetting, right? It can hurt your internal psychic. So you want to have somebody there to help work through it, and not your family, because your family, right? They're your family. So that is out there. So before you seek legal aid, and certainly there are reasons that you should, make sure you've got a lot of evidence. You've documented a lot of different things so that you can present them. You can't just go in, and I'm going to say this later on with the other things that you can do. You don't want to just go in. The therapist is the one for you to use to spout all your emotions and all your anger and all your frustration. The lawyer is the one for you to go in reasonably and rationally with, so that you can talk about how you're going to pursue the law, the law action, the civil suit. If there's criminal action, then the criminal suit, right? Criminal suit, you're going to want to get law enforcement involved. And yet they've had to have committed something criminal. So maybe you saw fraud, right? Maybe you saw fraudulent activity and you reported it, and then you lost your job. Hopefully you documented all that and you have it ready, and you've already gone to the police. Still go to a therapist, a psychologist, or a psychiatrist. Workforce services is usually available. U.S. Departments of Workforce Service provide unemployment claims, workers' comp, and mediation resources. Mediation resources. So they will not mediate for you, most likely. I hate to speak out of turn there. My experience is they're going to help you find somebody who can mediate. If that mediation goes your way, like 1% goes the worker's way in mediation, especially but it's out there. Legal guides, employment law sites, and local attorneys can help workers understand their rights and pursue accountability through the law. Justice isn't just for those still on the payroll. It's for anyone who's been harmed by a workplace culture that refuses to honor dignity. All right, here's the next one. And this is where we go with social justice, right? This is all about the social justice because we have platforms now through the web, the World Wide Web, the internet, that gives us this opportunity to rank our employer and give feedback on our employer, right? So again, with something like this, I read something once where somebody said, like, we have 5 different actions that we can take on this particular thing that happened. And the last one was, we can shout it from the rooftops. And I was like, that's the one I want. That's the one that's going to work. That's the one that's going to provide accountability. That's the one that is going to give us social justice. And that's exactly what we have the opportunity to do. So there are several websites, LinkedIn, Indeed. If you are a former employee, you don't want to pursue legal action, but your intent is to let other workers know this is a harmful workplace, right? Like, that's my sole intent. I mean the company no harm. I just want to make sure that future prospective employees understand that this work environment has a honeymoon period where everybody is on their best behavior and everybody's smiling and everybody really gets along and nobody does anything wrong. There's that honeymoon period, that onboarding period, and that as soon as that's over, their true faces, they're going to show you who they really are. And I want to let you know, my intent is to let you know, the prospective future worker there, that this is my experience, and I want to just let you know. I want to probably give you a heads up or give you a warning. When you write your comments on one of these websites, so LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, I guess there's On Gigs employer review list, professional tone. Oh, that's what I want to talk about, the professional tone. So you do want it to be professional. You want it to be concise, coherent, professional, and try not to say, anything that could be perceived as slanderous, right? Because there could be things like, that's why, again, you need your therapist, because if you just want to write every angry thing that's coming into your head and into your heart, and you just want to get it out and feel those emotions, do that. Just like, I use voice to text, right? So I just like talk into my microphone and it types it all out. Which is an amazing thing. It's like dictation back in the last century. So write it out, right? Write all the horrible things. Oh, and so did this and blah, blah, blah. And don't send it. Go talk to your professional therapist, psychiatrist, psychologist about it. Do that. Work through those emotions with that. When you go to the websites then, and you want to rank the employer and you want to provide feedback to prospective future workers and future employees of this company, make sure that it's concise, make sure that it's coherent, make sure that it's professional, right? So you want to document the aggression. So, and you don't have to name names. You don't have to do anything like that. You don't have to use pronouns either. Like, you can just leave the pronouns out as much as possible. While working at this employer, I experienced aggression from a supervisor on multiple occasions. That's bad behavior. In addition, I had conversations with coworkers who may agree to join me on this website to say that they also experienced aggression by this particular coworker colleague. That establishes a pattern, right? So as soon as you have a pattern, then you have some proof of manipulation of more than 2 people, right? Or more than just yourself. It's the same thing. I was a victim of gossip. The gossip was detrimental to my reputation. I tell you this so that you can be aware and that you can be ready to negate gossip if it comes to you. Those are some of the things. Let me think. Gossip, gaslighting. That one is really like, because not everybody understands what gaslighting is, and we kind of use it as a catchphrase again. So gaslighting is when somebody specifically does things to make you start to believe that you're wrong or you're inadequate or you're not good enough, and so they can say things to you. I don't really want to get into that here, but that's another example of that. So basically what I want to say is, by using things like Glassdoor, Blind is another one, and they allow you to post anonymously about company culture, leadership, and pattern abuse. So that's Glassdoor and Blind. And then OnGig's employer review list compiles platforms where workers can share experiences, much like Yelp for employers. Okay, OnGig's employer review list. And then again, just remember your tone. Now, the next thing is a little bit tougher. So certainly if someone was aggressive, harassing, threatening in some way, hopefully you've documented that, you've gone to see your therapist. That's a criminal suit, right? They've done something illegal. And that needs to be reported to the police, and then the police can do what they need to do with that. If you have, so that's physical, right? I'm trying to separate this out in my own head, but I wanted to talk about receiving unwanted sexual advances, right? Because that's real too. So you're in a work environment and your coworker who works in a cubicle next to you, who you can hear, talking to his wife or her wife, their partner, and yet they keep coming by your cubicle and kind of want to go for a walk. Can I get you anything? Doing the flirty thing, right? That's unwanted sexual advances. And you can go to your HR, but again, you're going to have to document. If you can record it, even better. You're going to have to establish a pattern of those unwanted sexual advances. And you're going to have to see if that person has done that to someone else in the past, or is doing that, or has the possibility of doing that to someone in the future, right? So unwanted sexual advances. You have to write down everything, your title, names, details. So then do you put that out there on the website, right? Do you put that on Glassdoor? Do you put that on Blind? Like, while I was employed, I received unwanted sexual advances from my coworker. Probably, right? And if you can do it in a way that isn't slandering, but just presenting evidence and facts, that's great. And then if you have those supporting colleagues who were there with you during that time when you were receiving those unwanted sexual advances, maybe they heard, maybe you talked to them to help work it through, they can also then go to that internet website and let's just right? Just hit a like, and then that will notify prospective future employees that there may be conduct within this organization that is inappropriate and unacceptable. All right, so know your rights. Title 7 of the Civil Rights Act prohibits sexual harassment. Complaints can be filed with the EEOC even after employment ends. All right, seek support. Again, go to survivor groups, go to therapy. Legal aid is always out there. Attorneys can help. A psychiatrist or a psychologist can help you deal with those emotions. An attorney is not there to help you deal with your emotions, right? An attorney is there to pursue the law. You can also go see a tarot reader. That's what I prefer. I find a lot of help in with tarot readers. But if you've received unwanted sexual advances at your work, you probably need to see a psychiatrist or a psychologist. And safety first, if possible. Stay safe. Make clear that behavior was unwelcome. right? I'm sorry, these advances are not welcome, which can then lead to anger and aggression by that other person. Very scary situation to find yourself in at work, at a place of employment. Workers, so that's my points. I think that's my points. Let me look. Yeah. Your recourse for accountability and social justice, if you are no longer employed at that office, includes just ranking your employer on Glassdoor, Blind, or other websites in a professional manner. Workers' justice isn't confined to the office walls. It lives in the stories we tell, the reviews we write, the complaints we file, and the solidarity we build. If you've left a job, remember, your voice still matters. Justice doesn't end when the job does. It begins when workers refuse to stay silent. I'm doing well, by the way. I am. Got things brewing, like things are happening. Excited for the future. My future, your future, our future. I had a dream like weeks ago, and it's turning into reality. It is so fun to see how this is evolving. Like from this dream I had weeks ago into let's make this real. All right, I have my affirmators cards. Hold on, something's up. Oh, that's what's up. Oh, something's still up. Huh. Okay. All right, here I go. I'm just going to pull a card. I'm not going to split the deck. Oh my gosh. It's the season of love. I cannot make that focus. Love. I choose love. Fuck this. I choose love. Love is a many-splendored thing. Today I will notice and appreciate at least 3 of those splendors. Like the fact that puppies make me feel like a parent, or the surge of self-congratulations I feel when I sink a 3-point trash basket shot on the first try, or how about the chills I get while singing along to, I have to say, a name of a song, you know the name. Alexa, will you play some music for me?
Sure. Here's a custom mix just for you.
To my greatest, highest good, and will release everything that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith, and I am stronger every moment, every day.
My mind is willing and the heart